Do you really care that much?
I need to know context for Luigi being the Antichrist.
Yeah, my mega is Beedrill. Anyway, let's continue on. Let's continue our merry way with nothing. Alright, okay. So, Super Paper Mario. Let's set the stage for the plot. Where's my repels? So I can just focus. There is this man named Count Bleck. He is part of the tribe of darkness. Sorry, his name is Blumiere. He falls in love with a human named Tipani. It was free experience. They fall in love, and sadly one day, Timpani is basically killed off by the Tribe of Darkness because they don't like her because she's human. Blumiere doesn't like this because, you know, his love of his life was killed in front of him. So he uses the Tribe of Darkness's main artifact, the Dark Prognosticus, to essentially end the world because his love is no longer in it. He sees no reason for the universe to exist. However, actually, we'll get to that. Now this is where the main story starts. Luigi and Mario are chilling in their house when a Toad comes running by saying, hey, Peach was kidnapped by that one guy. Mario and Luigi, of course, knew who they're talking about, so they walk to Bowser's house, where Bowser is planning to raid Bowser's castle. They get to Bowser's castle, and they find out that Bowser hasn't even attempted to... He was going to get Peach, but he didn't do it yet. That's when Blumiere, aka his new form of identity, Count Bleck, comes into the scene, showing that he has Peach. He proceeds to incapacitate Mario by shocking him. Actually, no, throwing him into a miniature black hole. And then he kidnaps everyone, which includes all of Bowser's minions, Bowser himself, and Luigi. While Mario is knocked out in a separate dimension at Bleck's castle, Mario and Peach are forced to get married. I say forced. Bowser is, of course, okay with it, while Peach is tortured into saying yes, to the point where she's near death. Because Peach said yes, the forbidden marriage of the Dark Prognosticus begins. Through their marriage, the Chaos Heart comes true, which essentially has the power to end the world as pure evil. Luigi comes in and jumps on the Chaos Heart. And jumps on the Chaos Heart, slightly disrupting it. Mario wakes up to find a butterfly trying to wake him up. This is Tippy, your protagonist for the game, or your side companion for the game. He's a little butterfly called the Pixel, a companion basically. Mario gets teleported to another dimension, a place in between dimensions called Flipside. Alright, see ya, Ash. They get teleported to a place called Flipside, in between dimensions, where Mario is said to be the hero of the Light Prognosticus, a book that has been written to counteract the Dark Prognosticus. There are basically two prophecies that contradict each other, and only one of them can be true. It is feared the Dark Prognosticus, because it was written first, is the true destiny. However, Mario is confirmed to be the hero of the Light Prognosticus, so his goal is to find the 8 pure hearts to counteract the Chaos Heart. Pretty standard Mario stuff. Cool. Mario proceeds to go through the first world, get the first pure heart. Simple enough. Now we cut to Peach, who is basically in Count Bleck's castle, which is pure darkness. She is chased down. She is seeing the Koopa, or what are they called? The Koopa Troopas?
Uh-huh.
They're seeing multiple Koopa Troopas get brainwashed and possessed by Count Bleck's secretary, and slowly but surely turning against Bowser. Peach, luckily gets saved by a mysterious force and sent to Flipside, where she meets up with Mario. Peach, deciding that she doesn't want to sit around this time, joins Mario on his adventure, and now you can play as Peach. Then you go to the next dimension, which is Merly Mansion, in which you're seeking Merly, Merlovely, the famed psychic who has the pure heart. So when you first get to the mansion, you find out, for one thing, they have a lot of slaves. Like actual slaves, just working to keep the power running. And treadmills and shit. And second thing, Merlovely's nowhere to be found. Instead, her maid, Mimi, is there. But she gets chased out by the house dogs. Yeah, it's one of my favorite games. It's a very underrated classic.
What the fuck?
Oh, hang on. No, dude, we're only on World 2. There's still 8 of these fuckers. Okay, so, as it turns out, Mimi, the maid, was a spy sent in by Count Bleck, who can shapeshift into anything and anyone. After you become cursed by her and forced to become her slave, the curse is you are stuck in the mansion and forced under her servitude until you can pay off the debt, which of course is 1,000,000 rubies, what you have to work off through slave labor, or by breaking into a bank and stealing everything in it. Your choice. You can work off the several hours it'll take you to actually do it, but you could just bring it to the bank and save yourself a shit ton of trouble. Now, the fourth, you're going into the basement because you figure out that's where Merlovely has to be. But you could stop at Mimi, Mimi in Merlovely's form, who tries to convince you that she's Merlovely, but you don't fall for it. And once she realizes this, she decides to show her true form, which she does by snapping her neck, spinning her head around several times, and turning into an invincible spider. I'm not making this shit up. And you hear her neck snapping and everything, so you know that's exactly what happens. And you get chased by this until the boss fight starts. And once you beat Mimi, where you beat Mimi using Merlovely's powers. It is then confirmed by Merlovely that the Light Prognosticus actually contains 4 heroes. However, the other 3 are not named super well. It is believed that Peach is the second hero, and they will meet 2 more. Now they get sent back to Flipside to give back the pure heart and get sent to the next world. Before this, however, we get to see Luigi's where Luigi ended up. He's also in Count Bleck's castle. Unlike Peach, however, he doesn't get away. Luigi is caught by Count Bleck's minions and proceeds to be his fate unknown. We now head to the next. Head to the World 3, which is called the Bitland, which is reminiscent of 8-bit Mario, since everything is made of pixels. Tippy, your barfly partner, immediately gets kidnapped by a pervert otaku chameleon named Francis and taken to his nerd lair full of action figures, anime, and comic books that must never be opened. And it is okay to love a 2D waifu that is an actual thing from the game. This game was ahead of its time. So you travel through the Bitlands, and you find Bowser is just chilling out in a castle of his own. After convincing from his wife, Peach, he decides to tag along with Mario and Peach. They proceed to swim through the ocean. They just swim across the ocean. They climb a giant tree, and they fight Dimentio, another henchman of Count Bleck, who can basically just control and create dimensions. Dimentio ends up losing, but states that Mario, Peach, and Bowser might be the ones. You get into Fort Francis, but it's just a giant castle full of nerd shit and cat maids. Robot cat maids. With cannons in their mouths. Anyways, after playing an actual dating simulator between Peach and Francis, the boss fight starts against Francis. And then you save Tippy, and because Tippy is so grateful, the pure heart spawns. Because that's the only way to make the pure heart spawn in this world, is an overwhelming amount of gratitude and love. The name of the game is Super Paper Mario. It's on the Wii or Wii U. Like Rusted Oracle. If you want me to stop the plot, I will. But I will say just mute yourself because I'm pretty sure Robbie wants to know how this shit ends.
I'm Is it bad that I'm actually fucking invested in this shit?
Okay, so next, of course, the next dimension is, of course, actual outer space, in which you can choose, which you have to find a fish helmet, or sorry, a fish bowl, in Flipside to use as a helmet. But you can choose not to put it on and die, as a game over. And the game really wants you to let you know that you will die if you do this. You can still just refuse to put it on.
Oh my fucking god.
Hey Ash, we're still working on it. We're still working on Super Paper Mario. So in outer space, they find this little squid thing named Squirp, who accompanies you through this chapter. Squirp, says he knows where the pure heart is, and is in something called the Woe Zone, and was locked away by his ancestors. But of course, you take a pit stop at a planet so he can go to the bathroom. The only way he can go to the bathroom is if you find something for him to wipe his ass. So you find this ancient manuscript, read the riddle on it, and then give it to him so he can wipe his ass. And then you continue on. Then you find a gate that you have to push Squirp into, but you need to feed him chocolate first. Then you get to the Woe Zone and go through this elaborate maze, in which you finally find the pure heart, but it is being guarded by the last of complex enemies, who I will show on screen right now. Hold on, I gotta find a picture. I gotta find a picture of this guy, because you're not gonna believe me. This a good picture? Yeah, this is a good picture. Alright. And you meet this mysterious man in the Woe Zone, and you have to fight him to the death. His name is Mr. L, and he is a loyal servant of Count Bleck. And he also has something called a Brobot, which is just a giant Mechazord that's shaped like his face. And you fight him to the death with Squirp, and Mr. L goes away. No, they never find out this is Luigi. Just to preface that.
What the fuck?
Alright, World 5. Oh yeah, it is also stated in Between Worlds that the same man is referred to in both the light and the dark part of Arceus, known as the Man in Green. And they theorize that this mysterious Mr. L is exactly who they're talking about.
Oh dear.
World 5. You are sent to a prehistoric world. It's Luigi. It is totally Luigi. Okay. You get sent to a prehistoric world full of cavemen who are getting kidnapped by sentient plants that are angry because the cavemen keep shitting and throwing trash in the river that they use for drinking water. So you follow the cavemen back after starring on a caveman TV show by Flint Cragley. And you find out that the plants are slowly but surely controlling the cavemen by injecting plants into their brains, and you have to avoid fighting them because it actually hurts you to fight them because they're just innocent victims. So then you just assassinate the king so they don't have to worry about it anymore, and then plant possession, and then you assassinate the king. The plants are like, hey, he was a good guy. You guys keep making us drink shit water. And so Flint Cragley with his TV crew broadcasts this to the Caveman Society, and so they know not to throw pollution into the river, and now all their problems are saved. We haven't talked. Okay, World 6 is a doozy. So World 6, you get sent to an ancient samurai kingdom, which is a tournament arc. You have to fight 100 warriors in order to get the pure heart.
How the fuck is this
You have to fight 100 straight battles in order to get the pure heart. The only problem is, I never really explained how the Chaos Heart is going to take over the world. Let me go into this now. The Chaos Heart summons something called the Void in every single dimension in the entire multiverse. The Void is something in the sky. Think of it as just a gigantic black hole that's ever expanding. But something they don't tell you right away is some worlds are a lot farther gone than others. So when you get to this world, you realize the Void is it's much bigger than in the rest of the worlds. So when you get to the next part of the chapter, you realize that Count Bleck's Mimi comes back to slow you down, and Blumiere makes his appearance, telling the main cast why he's doing this. And as it turns out, Tippy was Timpani the entire time. Tippy slightly survived being brutally murdered, but could only survive by becoming a pixel by changing her form. Blumiere, realizing who it is, starts to regret his actions, but realizes even if this is Timpani, which he doesn't believe because he's too far gone, it's too late to stop the Void from destroying the multiverse. And because they get stalled too much, the Void takes over the Samurai Kingdom, and everything is erased. Mario and company get sent back to Flipside, but without obtaining the Pure Heart. They walk back through to see if they can find it, and what they see is nothing. There's nothing there. Everyone who is gone, the culture, the color, everything is a white void.
Ooh.
You have to walk through this void for 5 minutes before anything happens, because nothing exists. You find the Pure Heart has been devoid of all power. It's a stone. There's nothing left. Mr. L makes an appearance to stop you from taking the Pure Heart rock, but eventually fails. Mr. L is then greeted by Dementio, who proceeds to completely murder him, legitimately killing him, sending him... Well, we'll get to that. Mario and company head back to discuss their options of what they have to do now, because the Pure Heart, they need all 8 to stop Count Bleck, but now that one Pure Heart is gone, they can't do it. Dementio then appears in Flipside, saying, because the only way to get to the next world, the next Pure Heart, is by using the Pure Heart. So Dementio gives them an offer. And by offer, I mean he just does it anyways. He sends them to the next world. He kills Mario, Peach, and Bowser, sending them to the next world, World 7, the Afterlife. Mario is sent to hell. Literal hell. It is called World -1. There isn't... there's no subtext here. Mario is dead. Mario has to go... Mario, Peach, Bowser are all separated. They are sent to different parts of hell. Mario talks with the ruler of World -1, Jades, and asks, hey, I'm not supposed to be dead. My game's not over. And to prove this, she shows him the Pure Heart that has turned to stone. And Jades realizes he's telling the truth. He's the hero, and his game isn't over yet. Jades is like, I will look into the Pure Heart, but I need you to do me a favor. Please look for my daughter, Loveby. We'll get to that. We'll get to that. I have not forgotten that, and I'm not lying. We'll get to that. Please go look for my daughter, Loveby. We saw someone jumped into the river Twix, which, if you don't know, is clearly a play on the river Styx, which is, in the actual Greek mythology, the river Styx is a river that is with a bunch of lost souls, doomed to roam through the river forever. Because when you actually go in the river, there's invincible dead hands trying to grab you and pull you in. And you have to go into there. You jump into the river Twix, and you don't find Loveby, but you do find Luigi, who is in hell, and doesn't remember anything of what has happened to him. But the Mario Brothers are now reunited, and they find... Yeah, basically. They find Loveby together. And due to the power of the ruler of hell, they allow Luigi and Mario to go back to the land of the living, back to Flipside, with a newly restored pure heart. And without Peach and Bowser, they head back and open the next door to the next dimension, which is hell. Dimentio did send them to the next world as promised. So they go back to JD saying, "We're looking for the next pure heart." And she says, "I don't know where the pure heart is, but I know who does. It's my husband, who is the ruler of heaven. So you need to climb from hell to heaven. And I want to ask you, please take my daughter with me, or with you, because she needs to go see her father." Loveby, of course, being the daughter of the ruler of hell and heaven. Loveby takes along with you, climbing. You eventually find Bowser, who has been locked up by the demon, D-M-E-N, because he's mistaken for a monster that escaped from hell. Mario then tells them, "This isn't a monster, this is my comrade." Yeah, Mario is sticking up for Bowser in this case.
Oh.
And Bowser continues to go straight to heaven. They find Peach, sitting under an apple tree. Which, if you don't know the story of Adam and Eve, you shouldn't eat apples. She eats the apple and immediately falls asleep, going to sleep forever. So they have to find a completely different apple, which is on a completely different part of heaven, to wake her up. They then get to the top of heaven, in which the ruler of heaven has been taken captive by a creature named Bone Chill, which essentially just wants to take over the afterlife. It's the monster the demon thought was the prisoner. After running through a war between the Bone Chill's army and the angels that fight for heaven, you have to fight Bone Chill. And Bone Chill reveals that he knows exactly where the pure heart is, because you've been traveling it this entire time. Loveby is the final pure heart. And I want to make this preface before on how dangerous the void is, because you get to go to the afterlife. The void is still in the afterlife. The samurais who were from World 6, they aren't in the afterlife. They weren't just killed, they were erased. Gone, existence. Their basic concepts don't even exist anymore. The same thing applies to Loveby. In order for her to become the pure heart, she doesn't just die. She has to erase her existence. JD's and the ruler of heaven made her into that so she could hide it, but they ended up falling in love with their daughter. And so Loveby, of course, is angry about this and leaves their parents with a bitter goodbye, and joins Mario to become the last pure heart, never to be seen again. And now they head to Count Bleck's castle to battle Count Bleck. While going through this, you fight off every one of the Bowser, Luigi, Peach, and Mario fight off against their own representative of Count Bleck's army. Bowser fights off against O-Chunks, who I have not mentioned yet, who is just a very brawny Irishman who likes to beat the shit out of it and likes to chunk people. Bowser, he fights them one-on-one, the ceiling collapses on them, and you don't see them again. You can't go back for them. The room is just gone. Mimi then fights off against Peach. The floor goes in under them, and you don't see them again. Luigi fights off against Dimentio. And after Dimentio loses, he takes Luigi with him by locking him in an explosion box and pulling the trigger. You don't get to go back for them. So Mario's left to fight off Count Bleck alone with Tippy. And they did survive, thankfully. The last 4 come in to help Mario beat Count Bleck. Because when the 4 heroes come together, that's when the true power comes in. They beat Count Bleck. And the Chaos Heart only loses power once the person who summoned it dies. So they have to kill Count Bleck. They knew this going in. Tippy, or Timpani, knew this going in. Count Bleck knows this. Now that he knows his love is alive, he doesn't have to destroy the world anymore. He's okay with the universe surviving, if just for a little bit longer. But he's not the final boss, because Dementio completely tries to murder Count Bleck. Because Dementio has also read the Dark Prognosticus, and he realized something. Count Bleck is not the true user of the Chaos Heart. It's Luigi who is the best possible host for the Chaos Heart. And so, Dementio snaps his fingers, and the plants from Part 5 go into Luigi's head. He's been mind controlled this whole time. Luigi, Dementio, and the Chaos Heart all fuse into one. Completely controlled by Dementio. And he is the person you have to fight. Here's the problem. The pure hearts are already used up on Count Bleck, since he had the full power of it. And now, there's nothing you can do. The boss isn't completely invincible. However, due to Timpani and Count Bleck reconvening their love, the Chaos Hearts the Pure Hearts get back their soul power. So they're allowed to beat Dementio. But right before you're about to kill him, he lets one last trick. He speeds up the void, so it will take out everything. Luigi, of course, comes out of this thinking, what the fuck is happening? And so they go back, and Count Bleck comes in saying, I have an idea. It might just work. They go back to the wedding at the start of the game. The thing that started it all. The forbidden wedding that caused the Chaos Heart. Their thought is, if I don't even know what to call it, unlove caused the Chaos Heart to come, true love will make it go away. So Timpani and Count Bleck take their spots at the wedding. And as wedding bells play, they profess their love and get married, taking their lives with them, but canceling out the effects of the Chaos Heart. Their fates are unknown. Not even in the post-game, no one knows where they went.
Jesus.
And that's how Super Paper Mario ends. The game is underrated in my opinion. It's not talked about nearly enough. Anyway, let's play some Pokemon. Yeah, I beat the game too.
Christ.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to watch a playthrough of that at some point.